Why do you support Israel if you're not Jewish?
You don't have to be what? Are you Palestinian?
It's a simple question.
Right, and I'm answering by asking you, are you Palestinian?
No.
Do you support Palestine?
I want them to be freed.
Okay, so you support them. Wow, you just answered your own question. Good job.
Got him.
So you just believe in God and God alone?
That's correct. I have read the Christian Bible. I've read the Quran twice. I've read over about 20,000 hadiths.
And you said you read 20,000 hadith?
15 to 20,000. Read all of Sahih al-Bukhari, which is about 7,500 hadiths. I've read all of Sahih Muslim, and I've read some of the ones beyond that.
Sneako's now Googling how many hadiths are there in the world because he wants to prove Nick wrong, but it's going to backfire tremendously.
Right. Google's saying it's around like 2,000 to 7,000 but
wait,
maybe
you
you're
don't
reading
know
Shia
your
ones as
own?
well.
No, that's okay. First off, the fact, aren't you Muslim?
Yeah, again, hadith,
Dude,
there's
Sahih
unreliable and
al-Bukhari
there's specifically reliable.
Sahih al-Bukhari has
different
7,500 hadiths by itself, dude. How do you not know this?
Again, there are different clarifications on how many hadith you could believe and how many are specifically reliable. There's different interpretations.
Sahih al-Bukhari is reliable. It's Sahih, which means authentic. Do you know what Sahih means?
Yes. Look, the point is...
Wow, guys, this is embarrassing. I mean, why would he know this? He's a pretend Muslim, right? Because he drinks on Ramadan. He consumes pork, not on purpose. Come on. He's not a real Muslim. Why would he know this? Hi, doing this is Sahar TV, and in today's video, we will watch my good friend Nick Matau debating and destroying Sneako, wiping the floor with him. Let's watch.
What up?
How are you?
I'm good. I see you got the 3 flags up.
Yeah. America, Israel, and Iran.
How come?
Who I support. Served the military for about 12 years in the American military. And I'm not Jewish, but I support Israel. I'm not Iranian. I support Iran.
Is that a Palestine necklace?
It's an Israeli necklace.
Okay.
It has the Golan Heights, right? You don't think that Palestine controls the Golan Heights?
Oh, well, let me ask you, why do you support Israel if you're not Jewish?
You don't have to be what? Are you Palestinian?
It's a simple question.
Right, I'm asking.
It's a simple question, yet he can't answer this, right? He's not Palestinian, yet he still supports the Palestinians, but it's not actually supporting the Palestinians, it's hating the Jews. That's what it actually is.
Answering by asking you, are you Palestinian?
No.
Do you support Palestine?
I want them to be freed.
Okay, so you support them. Wow, you just answered your own question. Good job.
Got him.
Yeah, but you didn't answer my question.
It's the
I'm
same
answering
exact
why,
answer.
because they should be freed. No. I support Palestine because they're being genocided and they need to be freed from this genocide. And they are predominantly Muslim brothers and they are good people.
Right, and you
so
didn't...
I gave you clear evidences. I gave you clear examples why I support Palestine. Why do you support Israel?
Right, so that's not what you originally asked. That's your new question. Your original question is, why do I do it if I'm not Jewish? So if your new question is, why do I support Israel, period, right? My answer is that I think they should be freed from terrorism and terroristic state and IRGC proxy group. Doesn't mean I particularly dislike any Arabs living in the land.
But why do you support? Do you support them because terrorists are attacking them?
No, there's many reasons. I'm just trying to simplify an answer just for a vague question. I'm giving a vague answer. Obviously, we can expand. There's more to it. I also don't believe it's a genocide because it doesn't meet the definition of the Genocide Convention of 48 that was ratified in 51. It doesn't meet the
You've seen Gaza today, and have you seen it 2023, right? They're cutting off the food supply, cutting off the water supply. They have kept on shooting after the ceasefire.
Guys, before watching this thing, I just want to tell you something, okay? You'll see throughout this video that the level of IQ between these two people is immensely different. Nick here is like a professor. He remembers things nobody remembers. Sneako is built on conspiracy theories and whatever gets clicks and likes. That's why throughout this debate, even Sneako's own fans are saying, boy, Sneako, you're losing this debate like crazy. You have no idea. I watched this thing already. It's insane. It's embarrassing for Sneako.
They've made it clear they want to expand to Greater Israel. They want to ethnically cleanse them, destroy the land. It's been completely destroyed. The Jewish Zionists controlling Israel.
All of them, or some of them, 10% of them, 100% of them? I know some people have said that. Of course, there's people that are allowed to agree with that. There's some people that want America to expand too, and there's some people that disagree with it. But that wouldn't mean I would attribute that to Donald Trump or the administration. But before you kind of labeled a huge list.
You're going everywhere. Okay, but okay.
You went everywhere. That's my point. I'm trying to bring us back. You just labeled a whole thing. I'm trying to go back to the genocide claim.
I didn't even mention Trump, and you went over to Trump. I want to go back to the original question. So,
so you don't want to talk about genocide?
Okay, I do want to get there, but I have to figure out what you believe in. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you're supporting Israel.
Okay, fair enough. Go back.
Why are you upset?
I'm literally not upset. I said fair enough. Go back.
Okay. So why do you support a state that was created in 1948 by Jews to support the greater Jewish cause, and you are not Jewish? What are you? What do you believe in?
What a stupid question, right? I can ask Sneako the same thing. Why do you support Pakistan that was created off of a ethnic cleansing of the original Hindu population? Why do you support the modern state of Lebanon? Why do you support the modern state of Jordan? What a stupid question. Because Israel has a right to exist just like any other country in the world. That's all.
Like by religion, or I'm Italian and Spanish mostly. I mean, my dad's from Mexico. I'm just I'm not Jewish. I'm American. I don't know what you're asking. Like,
okay, well, what's your faith? But you grow up Catholic. Spanish, Italian is probably Catholic. Right?
I'm a cradle Catholic, but I'm not a Catholic anymore. I do believe in God, but I'm not particularly a religious person. At least like a practice religion. I do believe in God for sure. But I believe in the seven laws of Noah. I'm not Jewish. I'm not really Christian anymore. Again, I was a cradle Catholic, and I did believe that for a little bit, but I kind of left the church as I started having questions.
So you just believe in God and God alone?
That's correct. I have read the Christian Bible. I've read the Quran twice. I've read over about 20,000 hadiths. I've read the Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh, the Torah, whatever. But yeah, just not any of those three faiths.
So you're against organized religion?
No, I'm not against it per se. I guess it depends on how that organized religion plays out. But I don't like harp on anyone if they're part of an organized religion. That's fine.
And you said you read 20,000 hadith?
15 to 20,000. Read all of Sahih al-Bukhari, which is about 7,500 hadiths. I read all of Sahih Muslim, and I've read some of the ones beyond that.
Sneako's now Googling how many hadiths are there in the world because he wants to prove Nick wrong, but it's going to backfire tremendously.
Right. Google's saying it's around like 2,000 to 7,000 but
wait,
maybe
you don't
reading
know
Shia
your
ones
own?
Well.
No, that's... Okay, first off, aren't you Muslim?
Yeah, again, hadith,
dude,
there's
Sahih al-Bukhari,
specifically reliable.
Sahih al-Bukhari has 7,500 hadiths by itself, dude. How do you not know this?
Again, there are different clarifications on how many hadith you could believe and how many are specifically reliable. There's different interpretations.
Sahih al-Bukhari is reliable. It's Sahih, which means authentic. Do you know what Sahih means?
Yes. Look, the point is...
Wow, guys, this is embarrassing. I mean, why would he know this? He's a pretend Muslim, right? Because he drinks on Ramadan. He consumes pork, not on purpose. Come on. He's not a real Muslim. Why would he know this?
Holy
that there's
shit.
Different schools of thought and different people believe in different amounts of hadith.
Correct.
This is the first time I heard someone say 20,000.
Dude, well, first off, I don't know what you Googled, but Sunni hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari is Sunni, okay? Sahih al-Bukhari by itself, before you even get into Sahih Muslim, is 7,500. What did you Google exactly? How many hadiths are there? I'm going to Google that just to see what mine says. How many total hadiths are there? Yeah, so what I got is it estimates range from tens of thousands to over 100,000, as you can know. It's not focusing, but or over a million actually. It says tens of thousands to over a million. So I don't know what you read.
Total hadith. It depends. Again, it's debated about how many specific hadiths there are.
But
how many
no one in the world would say there's only 2,000 or whatever you said.
I wasn't refuting you. If you're coming here to do this like gotcha moment.
Oh no, he's not coming to do the gotcha moment, right? He just did the gotcha moment. Sneako doesn't know anything, right? His entire channel is built off of conspiracy theories on what gets him clicks and likes and views, so he can monetize this way. That's all. And you'll see the crazy difference in this debate.
I was asking because this is the first time I've heard somebody say that they've read that many or that there were that many. most of the people that I've spoken to say they're around 7,000 as
Bro, I promise you it wasn't to be a gotcha. I just never heard a Muslim say that. But yeah, I know a lot of people have read way more than me. But sure, I mean, they're not that long. Anyways, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that I'm not Christian or Muslim or Jewish.
Let's go back to the original question.
Sure.
So do you believe that that land, which is the Zionist belief, was promised to them 3,000 years ago?
What do you mean by that land? So like Genesis 15, for example, says from the Euphrates River to the river of Egypt, which some people say is the Nile River, but that's actually not correct. It's actually the Al-Wadi area, which is in the Sinai. But if you go into the book of like Joshua, Numbers, it actually is smaller. The borders are actually smaller. So it just depends on what you mean by that land. Yes, I do believe God literally said that, but I don't generally need to use religious beliefs to defend my position with Israel. We can talk about religion, but I don't particularly.
But if you don't believe in religion, then why do you believe this aspect of religion?
I do believe in the word of God. I'm just saying organized religion. Like, for example, the Catholic Church I left, not because I was against certain things in the Bible, it's because of organized religion. And when I say I'm against it, again, I'm not saying other people, I like condemn them for it. That's fine. I'm just saying me personally. But yes, I believe in the words of God.
So you believe in the word of God, but you don't believe in organized religion. But in the word of God, it clarifies organized religion.
Where?
All over.
Okay.
Like the Torah saying that the people, it comes from the tribe, that
I'm not from that, so
Jewish,
that's not to me.
But you're using that. You're using that
that's
as an example.
okay. So if you read, you're talking about like Deuteronomy and Leviticus. What it says is to the Hebrews. ... I'm not part of that. So you're correct. It does say that, but that wouldn't apply to me.
So you believe that they're right, but you're not part. You don't. I'm trying to figure out. So you agree and disagree with them?
No, you're just wow. Okay. What I'm saying is that was laws given to the Hebrews and their descendants, the children of Israel, or if you're Muslim, they say Bani Israel. I'm not part of that.
Are they correct? Are they correct?
Is what correct? Do I believe God said that to them?
It's funny how Sneako accused Nick of trying to get a gotcha moment, but Sneako is trying to lead Nick to get a gotcha moment, right? But he's not going to get it. Nick is a lot smarter than him.
Are they correct in believing that that land was promised to them 3,000 years ago?
I do believe God promised that to Abraham, and that covenant went through Isaac and Jacob. That is true. But again, I want to make it very clear, because I know you're trying to like pivot to this. I can defend my position of Israel. I got you.
I want to figure out why. So I'm asking you like very, important questions.
My defense of
what you believe in.
My defense of Israel can come absent of religion. I do not need to bring up religion to defend Israel. Like if you're asking, do I only defend it because I think it's God's promise? That's not the answer.
Okay, so then 1948, the land was sold from the British to the Rothschild family, and it started the formation of Israel. Do you agree? Do you believe that that was right?
No, first off, the letter to Rothschild was in 1917, not 48. The 48.
I didn't say the letter. I said it was purchased. I said that's when the transaction went through.
No, actually, the partition 181 alone was in 1947, November 29th, 1947. So again, that's just not right.
All right. Okay.
I don't know why you're laughing. It's just not right. No, that was the partition plan.
All right. Okay. It started in 1948, correct? That's when Israel started to move, and that's when the land finally, the transaction went through officially.
No, when they started to move, the first major aliyah was in 1881. Okay, so no, it wouldn't have started in 48. If you're asking when they declared its establishment, May 14th, 1948, if that's what you're asking,
that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Okay, well, that's just not what you said.
That's when the declaration was, and that's when it was official. That's when it went through. That's the important part of this conversation.
Okay, right? Yes. If you're asking when they established,
you've done a lot of research on these dates and things. Are you here stream sniping to debate me?
I would love to.
That's how you know Sneako's scared. Are you here stream sniping to debate me? No, Nick has been doing this for more than 2 years. I think he's been doing it for 4 or 5 years on TikTok, so he's been debating a lot of people. Actually, before I started my channel, I used to watch Nick debate, and he's a role model. Like, he does know how to debate. He's really, really good with dates, really good with historical facts. He can debunk almost any claim you have, against the Jews, against Israel, against anything that he doesn't believe in. So, really, really, really smart guy. Do me a favor, subscribe to him on YouTube, watch his videos. I see great things coming out from this guy on YouTube because he is awesome. I love Nick.
Debate you if you don't want to. You don't have to.
No. But is this the purpose of this? You were trying to find me?
I was literally just on Omi TV, and I skipped the last person I was talking to who pointed a gun at me, and he had like a swastika, and then I was like, I'd like to talk to you, and then he skipped, and then I connected with you, literally.
Okay. So was this correct? Because afterwards there was a genocide that was reported called the Nakba, the expulsion of the Palestinians.
The Nakba is not a genocide, guys. The Nakba actually comes from the term disaster, and the disaster has nothing to do with people getting removed from their homes or anything like that. It has to do with the fact that they were losing 5 Arab countries, lost to 1 Jewish country. Small one. How come? We surprised them with an attack. That's a disaster. The amount of Jewish refugees that were forced to leave their homes in the Middle East, in Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon, is a lot greater than what the Arabs in the region claimed they went through.
Palestinians there.
That was
Is
a genocide
correct?
too?
Right. Yes, it's been a continuous genocide, but that's a major event in the ongoing genocide since 1948. Do you agree of that expulsion? So there was purchased, the land was purchased by the Rothschilds.
Okay,
from
so
the
no,
British,
I don't agree
and
that
then
it
they
was
started.
Yeah, I don't agree that was a genocide. Genocide is defined specifically, the second to last page of the Genocide Convention says cultural destruction does not suffice, nor does simply dispersing a group of people. Those can be violations of the Rome Statute, but that is not the same thing as genocide. It wouldn't meet the dolus specialis
Okay,
of genocide.
What do you consider to be the definition of genocide?
Doesn't matter what I consider, it's just the definition. So I would go with the 1948 convention that was ratified in 51. And if you look that up, you will see the definition, but you also see the definition of dolus specialis, what that means, the hierarchy of international law from just Kogan's norms, right, all the way down to Article 107. And then before that, or under that would be the mix between customary international law and treaty law.
Okay, well, on Google, it's saying, coined by Raphael Lemkin in 1944, there's a recognized crime under international law involving acts like killing, causing severe harm, or preventing births within the targeted group. Genocide is the deliberate and
Yes, every war in
systematic
history has been a
destruction
genocide by that definition.
in whole and part of an ethnic, racial, religious, or national group. So the land was purchased, and then
Are you
What,
using
thousands of
Google
people
instead of
would-
like legal terminology?
right, this term was coined in 1944.
That's
It was a
correct.
crime
Yeah.
under international law. So this is a legal term.
Right,
So
and
I'm
the
following the
UN
legal term.
convention was in 1948. So you're correct. 44
Right, so
was
4 years
before 48.
before, by the definition under international law. So again, if you don't like Google definition, this is the international law definition.
Oh, you are
So
reading.
how
Okay, my
is
bad.
the not? Okay, I accept your apology. Is this not genocide by this definition?
No.
How come?
So am I answering about the Nakba or am I answering post October 7th? Because you brought up both.
Nakba.
Okay, so the Nakba do you believe that they had an intent to wipe out a group in whole or in part of a protected status? Because I'm pretty sure the Nakba is defined by the Palestinians, especially post 1964 political movement, right? With the PLO. When you look at the Nakba, it's talking about 750,000 that were displaced. 2/3 of them never actually even crossed international borders, which is what's required of as a refugee, unless you're a Palestinian. They made up a new definition for them. Hold on, almost done.
Okay.
Just one more
So
sentence.
what do you?
And so you're saying that displacement, even if you counted all that, you're counting that as genocide. That's not what genocide is.
So they were just displacing people, killing them, and kicking out of their homes. Not genocide.
That's not genocide now.
Okay. Should you kill?
And by the way, some of the people that were removed from their homes are people that lived in absentee landowners' properties that were purchased by the Jews. Therefore, if the homeowner wants to claim their home, they can do that, right? If you don't want to do that, then don't sell your home. But they did. And the Jews moved in. And by the way, if the Arabs would not have started the war in 1948, not a single Arab would be displaced. They could have just lived side by side next to the Jews, and everything would be fine. But they had to start shit up. And now they're paying the price. Okay.
Displace and kick them out of their homes because it was purchased by the Rothschilds. Is that morally right?
That's not what I'm saying at all, because that's also not accurate.
I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm asking you. So what do you think happened after 1948?
Sure. So in November 29th, 1947, a minute after the partition plan vote, there was actually the leader of the Arab Committee at the United Nations 4 days before that said that we will fight to the last Arab to prevent any Jewish state ever, right? And then a minute after the partition plan vote, they started attacking just Jews. You can't say Israel because Israel didn't even exist yet and for another about 6 months, right? So they started attacking Jews. There was 10 different Arab factions that attacked Jews in 1948 after the establishment of Israel. So I would call it a war that they lost. 70,000 Jews were displaced in the first week of the war alone. Many of them killed, and many of them never got to return to their homes because Jordan ended up annexing illegally what they call the West Bank. Would you say that was a genocide if we're just pretending killing and displacement equals genocide now? I wouldn't say that. I'm asking, would you say that?
Pretending. So your question is killing and displacing people genocide?
I'm saying it's not. It could be, but it's not.
Okay, this is separate. What happened in 1948? What was that? You're not calling it genocide. You didn't answer the question. Was that?
I did. I answered it already. I said it was a war.
So once it was purchased, it was declared war.
Keep liking the live.
Owned by the Rothschild family who purchased
Heart means do whatever you can.
Again, what is your question?
So the Rothschild family, because they purchased it from the British, this justifies the war that happened afterwards, and they were entitled to do this. So clearly, it started from them, right? The land existed before. There was a country there. They were existing.
Not Palestine.
The Rothschilds had a trend.
There was no country there before. Sneako doesn't know anything, right? There was no country there before. There was a region called Palestine, but there were no Palestinian people.
Then what?
Well, you said there was a country there before. It wasn't Palestine. Palestine's a regional name.
Okay, it wasn't recognized as Israel before then. It was widely recognized as Palestine. You're going to say that different people didn't consider it as a state? That's up for
nobody considered it as a state. Literally nobody. You can read the 1922 League of Nations mandate. You can read the Ottoman times. They had vilayets, and none of the vilayets, by the way, were mentioned as Palestine. Palestine is a European word that comes from the Europeans. It was officially put in by Roman Emperor Hadrian, but even people like Herodotus, who was Greek, he also used that word, right? It comes from the ancient Palestine.
So what was it called? Okay, so you're not saying it was called Palestine. What was it called?
No, I said there was no country there. Of course, the region name.
There was nobody. So there's people there, and the region is Palestine. The people that were there, their land was sold by people that don't live there. The British sold that land. Afterwards,
Actually, it wasn't sold by Brits. It was sold by absentee landowners in different parts like Lebanon, Syria, Egypt.
No, most of the land was actually bought most of the land was bought against Arab absentee landowners by far. So just so you know, about 47 to over 50% of the land was actually state-owned land during the Ottoman time. When the British took that from the Ottomans after the 1917 fall of Jerusalem, when they lost that battle, and then the British took over officially 1922. Okay, they took over that state-owned land. About half of it, some sources say a little over half, was state-owned. And then there was a general amount that was owned by Arabs, mostly by Arab absentee landowners out of Jerusalem, Beirut, and Damascus. And then there was about 6 to 10% by the end that was owned by Jewish organizations, communities, etc. Like there's a lot of Sephardic Jewish communities that bought it. Rishon LeZion, for example, was started by 40 Jewish families, and that economic opportunity brought in for...
You're saying a lot of... Okay, you're saying...
I'm correcting your statements.
Events. Okay, there were people... The important aspect...
Okay, hold on, guys. I'm pausing this right here because I don't want you to watch the video on Nick's channel. Sneako told Nick that his video is not going to do well, but Nick's video has 180,000 views at the moment, and Sneako has 50,000. Now, just so you understand how badly Sneako lost this, Sneako's own comments on the stream he did, I think on Kick, forgot where he was streaming this, Sneako's own comments were like, Sneako, I'm a big fan, but you need to learn how to debate. This guy is wiping the floor with you. I've been watching this for 2 hours, and you're losing this hard. This was a painful watch for Sneako's fans because Nick absolutely destroyed him. So if you'd like to watch the full video, I'll attach it in the link below. Make sure you subscribe to Nick because this is a beautiful must watch. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
If you'd like to watch more of my stuff, please check out my channel down below. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified every time I upload new content. If you'd like to support me and the channel financially, you can do that using Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links below. Also, we now have a Discord that you can join down in the link below. And now you can become a YouTube member and enjoy specific YouTube perks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.